Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Air. For today, we are going to be talking about the books I'm going to be reading for the month of July, and at the end, I'm just going to talk quickly about the books I've read in June. There's just a few of them, so let's get started. Also, look at the baby clips. My sister got them for me and I'm so happy. Thanks, sis. Okay, so I'm going to show you the books that I'm going to be reading. Some books I've finished reading and some books I have to finish, because I started them in June. So let's get started with the books I'm going to be reading for July. First up, we have Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway. I talked about most of these books from my previous video about my June book haul, so go check that out. This is my last classic, I think. Yeah, this is my last classic book that I have. I really want to read Frankenstein and some Jane Austen books, and also I'm gonna try to read Pride and Prejudice and Little Women because I love the films of those two. Can't wait to read a book from Virginia Woolf. I want to read more of her stuff, but I decided to start with Mrs. Dalloway. Next up, the book I want to read is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Yamaguchi. Once again, I talked more about it in my June book haul, so please just check it out. Basically, it's a book about this coffee shop in Tokyo that's really old. It's been there for hundreds of years serving coffee. That's not the only thing they serve to customers. Apparently, it's been rumored, or they have this urban legend, that they can also let their customers travel back to the past. I know, really interesting, right? I actually finished it just a few hours ago. Not even an hour, maybe like 10 minutes ago. I don't have the second book of this yet, and I can't wait to get it. I want to know more. The stories are so heartfelt. It made me teary-eyed only, not like heavy on crying. This is actually the first book I read for the month of July, and the first book I finished in the month of July is Picture of Dorian Gray. This was part of my June TBR list, but I read it at the end of June, and I didn't get to finish it by June, so I finished reading this around July 1. This book is amazing. The writing was beautifully done. The story, the suspense in it. I get why this is such a classic now. Oscar Wilde's writing makes you think. I give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I give this a 5 out of 5 stars as well. I am a generous rater. Like, I'm not like, yeah, I only have 5 books I rate 5 stars. No, I'm not like that. If I love it and enjoyed it, then I will give it 5 stars. No questions. Next up in the books I want to read in July is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Vuong. And I've talked about this in my previous video again. I won't be picking it up next. I'll be picking up the #1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. This is a thrift store, bookstore find. This is set in Africa, and I'm trying to spread my genres. So far, I've been loving historical fiction and literal fiction. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I gathered so far. I also want to read more books that are set in different places, not just like in states. I haven't even read a book that the school didn't tell me to read it, and it's based in the Philippines, and I really want to do that. So this one is in Africa, and this one's in Tokyo, Japan. So this is a good start. This is a good start. So yeah, I'll be picking this up next. I can't wait. And then we have a book that I started in June, but I didn't get to finish yet. It's called A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. As you know, this is a terrible book. It's beautiful, but I don't recommend it because it will break you to pieces. Next up, I've been reading graphic novels via my Apple gadget. Why did I say it like that? But yeah, I've been using the Apple iBooks app, and here's just a bunch of my graphic novel collections, I guess. I don't know if you can call it a collection. I started in the Heartstopper series, and it's so adorable. I'm gonna be reading the 4th volume this month. I also want to read New Kid and Smile, and this one somewhere. I really want to read those. Hi, editing Air here. Oh my god. Hey, so I'm here, and I would just like to show you that I downloaded 2 new graphic novels, and it's The Magic Fish and The Girl from the Sea. I'm gonna be including that in my July TBR as well. I just want to update you guys. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Going back to the video now. Bye! So, let's move on to the books I've read for the month of June. Since we have this out already, I'm going to start with the graphic novels I have in these. I read Heartstopper volumes 1, 2, and 3, and they were just amazing. It's so adorable. Check out the trigger warnings before you get started on them. Next up, I read Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. It was quite messy. I don't know, the plot was kind of messy, but also understandable. There's just a lot going on in the book, okay? And then next up, we have this really adorable fantasy world graphic novel. It's just, the art is amazing. The Tea Dragon Society, that's volume 1. The Tea Dragon Festival, that's the second one. And the Tea Dragon Tapestry. I love it. Chef's kiss. From the stories to the little cute dragons and their biography, from the characters and the art as well. I think I've mentioned the art already. I didn't really get into the first one, so I gave it like a 4 stars, and the second and the third one were just so cute. So yeah, I gave this a 5 stars. And then lastly, in my graphic novel Shenanigans, I read Through the Woods, and I gave it a 5 stars. The stories were so creepy and odd and just out there, and the art was just great. I love it. Art plus a good story. Yeah, Through the Woods, if you want something satisfyingly horrifying, especially the last story, that was just, yeah, I recommend that. I read this one, The Realm of Possibility by David Levithan. I haven't read a David Levithan book in forever. He was like one of the authors I adored growing up, or like when I started reading. It's very old, and I remember just liking the story, but also at that time, I was like 16, and I was really confused on how the story was going. So I don't know why I liked it, but I liked it now. I gave it a 3 stars. I gave it a 5 stars before, but now kind of like my brain's a little more processed well. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, reading it as a 20-year-old, it kind of makes sense now. And I guess it was just, I don't know, there's just toxic relationships in there sometimes. It's based on a school, and it's written like this, and it's different. It's a breath of fresh air, definitely. A bunch of characters that gets thrown at you, and then you get to know their stories, and their love stories, and their heartbreak stories, their toxic relationships, and everything about them. And yeah, it's written like this. It's all like in a different way. It's not a full-on word by word, like, I opened the door, ate some breakfast. Wow. Novel of the Year air. And then next up, I read The Modern Detective and A Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know where my copies are. My copies are up there in my shelf. I gave A Modern Detective, I didn't give it a 5 stars. It was interesting that Edgar Allan Poe wrote the first ever fictional detective, and you know, the stories there. It was very smart. Too smart for me. The Modern Detective there was really no connection. I didn't really get into it. I mean, I did get into it, but after it, I wasn't feeling satisfied. The Telltale Heart, however, I gave it a 5 stars because it weirded me out. It was a good, terrifying, weird sensation. There was a good one, there was a bad one, so that's a good experience for me. Yeah, I think that's all the books I read. Oh, okay. I can't wait to start with July because so far, I've read these 2 and it's been a good start. That is all for today. So these are all the books, and of course, and these. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. I'll see you guys later. Keep doing what you're doing.
I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm down to just waste time right below your waistline. Want you by my head. I'm done with all